where Vallavi Gopi and Raga Sindhu were at that time. But the program and both Kadam Kanan Prabhu and Hemanga Gopi Mataji were so nice that they made the trip every week to the center, and that's how they got connected to ISKCON. Every year we are fortunate to get association of Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, and that connection was also established with the help of Hemanga Gopi Mataji and Kadam Kanan Prabhu. They loaned us Chaitanya Charan Prabhu for a few days a
Mataji, please.
couple of years ago, and that's how we started getting his mercy in Connecticut. So thank you very much, Hemanga Gopi Mataji, for joining us today. And I'll mute myself, and you can start the class now. Thank you again.
You're, I'm losing your connection. Are you able to hear me? I'm not sure if it's
Yes,
my connection.
Mataji, it's my connection probably which is shaky in this room.
Okay. But you're
Okay,
able to hear me well, right?
we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
thank you, Mataji. Thank you for giving me a platform
Yeah.
to reflect and to mend myself. Yeah. So I really want to thank all the assembled Vaishnavas, and I seek your blessings that I can speak something that can glorify the Supreme Lord and that will bring pleasure to the assembled Vaishnavas. And I really thank His Grace Pyari Mohan Prabhu and Her Grace Jiva Mataji that they are giving this opportunity for me to render some small service. Thank you so much. So I'm going to share my screen and sing Jai Radha Madhav. So once again, welcoming everyone to Sunday Feast lecture of ISKCON Farmington. I'm sorry, ISKCON Connecticut. Welcome again. So let's sing Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Are you doing calling and response, or you would like me to just lead it from my end? Whatever you all say.
Mataji, we can repeat after you.
Okay, sure. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari.
Gopi Janaval
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari.
Gopi Janaval
Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki Jai
Jai
Prabhupada ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. You're making this live session very lively by participating. It feels very nice. Thank you. So before I begin, I would like to chant these Mangalacharan prayers and take blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas and also all our predecessor Acharyas. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadhantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dhinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Jai. Thank you again, devotees of ISKCON Connecticut, for giving me this opportunity to share this great knowledge from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And I seek the blessings of His Grace Pyare Mohan Prabhu and Jiva Mataji, so that I can speak something that can glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead and bring pleasure to the heart of all the assembled Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna. So today, the special verse that every verse is special from Bhagavad Gita, no doubt, and filled with lessons for us to learn, as it's our manual. So today we get to choose this very, very special verse from chapter 5, Bhagavad Gita chapter 5, and verse number 18. So the chapter is entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. So if devotees would like, you could please repeat. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne
Vidya
Vinaya Sampanne
Brahmane Gavihastini
Brahmane Gavihastini
Nichaiva Swapake Cha
Sune Chaiva Stapake Cha
Pandita Samadarshinaha
Pandita Shamadarshinaha
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne
Brahmane Gavihastini
Brahmane Gavihastini
Nichaiva Swapake Cha
Sune Chaiva Stapake Cha
Pandita Samadarshinaha
Pandita Shamadarshinaha
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne
Brahmane Gavihastini
Brahmane Gavihastini
Nichaiva Swapake Cha
Shune Chaiva Stapake Cha
Pandita Samadarshinaha.
Pandita Shamadarshinaha
Thank you very much. And now we will see the synonyms. Vidya,
Vidya
with education.
with education
Vinaya,
Vinaya
gentleness.
and gentleness
Sampanne,
Sampanne
fully equipped.
fully equipped
Brahmane,
Brahmane
in the Brahmana.
in the Brahmana
Gavi,
Gavi
in the cow.
in the cow
Hastini,
Hastini
in the elephant.
in the elephant
Shuni,
Shuni
in the dog.
in the dog
Cha,
Cha
and
and
Eva,
Eva
certainly.
certainly
Shwapake,
Shwapake
in the dog eater.
in the dog eater
The outcast.
the outcast
Cha,
Cha
respectively.
respectively
Pandita,
Pandita
those who are wise.
those who are wise
Samadarshinaha,
Samadarshinaha
who see with equal vision.
who see with equal vision.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The humble sage, the humble sages. Would you like to repeat the translation too? The humble sages.
The humble sages,
By virtue of true knowledge,
Virtue of true knowledge,
see with equal vision,
see with equal vision,
a learned and gentle Brahmana,
a learned and gentle Brahmana,
a cow,
a cow,
an elephant,
an elephant,
a dog,
a dog,
and a dog eater.
and a dog eater.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to read the purport. A Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between species or castes. This is very hope-giving and very nice. The Brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, and an elephant may be different from the point of view of species. But these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme. For the Supreme Lord, by his plenary portion as Paramatma, is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned, in different castes or different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend, yet maintains himself as Paramatma regardless of the circumstances of the living entities. The Lord as Paramatma is present both in the outcast and in the Brahmana, although the body of a Brahmana and that of an outcast are not the same. Continuing, the bodies are material productions of different modes of material nature, but the soul and the super soul within the body are of the same spiritual quality. The similarity in the quality of the soul and the super soul, however, does not make them equal in quantity. For the individual soul is present only in that particular body, whereas the Paramatma is present in each and every body. A Krishna conscious person has full knowledge of this, and therefore he is truly learned and has equal vision. The similar characteristics of the soul and supersoul are that they are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. But the difference is that the individual soul is conscious within the limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas the supersoul is conscious of all bodies. The supersoul is present in all bodies without distinction. So once again, the translation: the humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater outcast. So this picture itself, I guess, speaks volumes or explains the whole verse, very nicely depicted in the pictorial form, that there are so many differences in our life. Each of us have, on a daily basis, we feel that we are discriminated, we don't have that equality, and there is inequality due to the race or gender or nationality or background, color, what to say, species. So we come across this every day in our dealings and life in this world. And in school, I always feel like when we learn English grammar or when we learn subject, the teacher would teach us how do we categorize, like what is that common thing that connects, and how do we put things in a category. All these are furnitures, all these are food, all these are animal species. Like what is that one thing that kind of categorizes the whole different things that fall into one specific category, the uniting factor. So if we think of the external, the material look or our qualifications, we have a hard time finding something like that. What is that uniting all of us? And why do we even want to get united in the first place? What is that longing? Why are, when we don't feel that we are recognized, or we don't feel that we are equally treated, there is some pain that we all have gone through, and we do go through too. So why is that? And that longing, where is it coming from? So usually we say that if we have not experienced it, we wouldn't hanker for it. If I didn't even know what a pizza was, I wouldn't even hanker for that dish because I have not even known it, or I haven't seen it, or not even tasted it, or smelled it, anything. So I wouldn't hanker for it. But similarly, if we are hankering for this equality, that means there is a place where we are actually treated equally. We did get that feeling of being felt that we all belong to something superior. So that's where this picture is representing, that this humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge. So there is one thing as knowledge, like vidya, the learning that gives us a better understanding. And the Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita, like, vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavyastige. So it should be like that. What is that translating to? What is this great knowledge that is translating it to? That person is able to have an equal vision. How is this? So anytime we learn and we feel we go through in our life that we have not been treated equally, so let's start the reformation from within. We also, in our daily living, we have some posts, we deal with people, So let us start cultivating how do we see with equal vision instead of being expecting it from somebody else. How do we develop this wonderful quality that Lord Krishna is speaking in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? Since it is a practical manual, Krishna wants us to develop such wonderful qualities. So how do we learn? We learn when we have our seniors teaching us how did they practice it? How are they showing by their example? And in this purport, Srila Prabhupada also explains how the Lord, he doesn't have the problem in seeing because he knows that we all are his part and parcels. Like how the parents don't have a problem to see all the kids as their kids. But if the kids don't see that they are all siblings and they are from the same father and mother, that's where the problem comes. So the Lord has no problem seeing us as equal and treating us in that way and reciprocating in that way. But if we don't understand the connection to the Lord, that we are the part and parcel of the Lord, that we are all that souls that are part and parcel of Krishna, this knowledge that is revealed in Bhagavad Gita, when we understand that and when we start practicing in our lives, we are able to see this equal vision, and what a peace that is. So moving forward, we are going to see some more examples from our scriptures, how those learned sages, but those humble sages, by the virtue of true knowledge, they were able to practice this quality of equal vision. Just giving a mundane example here, that this always pains for us to see this picture. And here even the animals have a conversation that some are loved and some are not. So this is how life is. Like sometimes when the uniting factor is that knowledge of that uniting factor, that's the soul is missing, then these differences are enlarged. So just another mundane example, like we see different currencies. As adults, we know they have value, but for a kid, it would be just like a colorful piece of paper. So how we handle this colorful piece of paper is going to be very different from how a little kid is going to handle it. And we also know that just doesn't mean that colorful paper, the assets can be coming in different forms, and we all know how the value is for all of these. But not a little kid will not know about that. They would just see as like just seeing is just perceiving what they see. But we go a step deeper when we have the knowledge of how these can translate. Like I just can remember only when our currency notes get wet or is in a filthy place, we make sure that we take it, we kind of dry it, and we know how to use it, how to make it into a useful form. Why are we taking the trouble? Because we know the value of it. It's just that paper and colored paper, but it has that value because it is connected through the authority. The government has given that authority, like this has a value. So that's how we see each individual as having that value, because we have that connection to the Supreme Lord, being the part and parcel of him. So moving forward, and this age of Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this month, especially March, is so special because God Purnima is coming. And how can we not remember the Supreme Lord who has descended just to freely give the holy name to everyone? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he reciprocates and exchanges distributing this holy name. So let's see that. So when it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela chapter 17, where there is the description of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he wanted to travel from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan. On his way, he was moving through the forest, Jarikanda forest, and in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is explanation how when he was traveling, you could see the devotee behind is Balabhadra Bhattacharya. And when he was traveling, all the animals, they just moved to the sides and gave way for Mahaprabhu to walk. Balabhadra Bhattacharya was very scared, like all these are wild animals. Who would not be scared of wild animals? We know what they can do. So he was very scared, but when he saw as Mahaprabhu was dancing in ecstasy and chanting the holy names and entered the forest, these animals all moved aside and gave way. And when he walked further, he saw a tiger lying down there, and his lotus foot just touched the tiger, And he said, chant Krishna's name. And the tiger began to chant, Krishna, Krishna. And then we could see that as the elephants were, Mahaprabhu was in the pond, he was doing his Gayatri, and these wild elephants were also there drinking water. And Mahaprabhu just splashed the water on those elephants and he said, chant Krishna, Krishna. And the wild elephants began to chant Krishna, Krishna. And there was the whole Sankirtan of what? All the animals chanting and dancing Krishna, Krishna. And we could see this picture is so depicting very nicely the Chaitanya Charitamrita, what is written there, that the deer is a food of tiger. But it's said that the tiger and the deer, they were dancing in hands with each other, and they were even kissing to the point that they were happy and they were chanting the Lord's name. So this magic Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can do, no doubt. And this other side, you could see this nice rock where still the footprints of all the animals with Mahaprabhu can be found even today. So that's the Krishna magic that Mahaprabhu was able to do in his presence. And even now those magics are continuing. So we'll see more relevant that we can understand in today's age. So this was the mercy of Mahaprabhu, distributing not just to human beings, the freely giving the holy name, but also to the animals. And it is also mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, like after he moved on from the Jarikanda forest, there was a village where people were kind of not from a very high class or high birth, but they were also given the holy name and they accepted it, and they all also were chanting happily, seeing Mahaprabhu's beauty and his purity. So here also in Bhagavatam, it's mentioned in one of the cantos where Rantidev, I think it's canto 9. So King Rantidev, he was such a wonderful king that he was happy always serving others. He saw this aspect of every living entity as those souls who are part and parcel of Krishna. So he had a fasting that he did for 48 days. We can imagine when we do our Ekadashis and how we feel. We are looking forward for Dwadashi very badly. But this king, he fasted for 48 days, and the 49th day when he was going to break the fast, a Brahmana approached first and he begged for alms, like, can I have some food? And Rantidev was very happy to share some portion of his meal to him. And then it is said a Shudra, like a lower caste person, like he came and he begged if he could have some food. And Rantidev did not show faces. He was like, his plate was getting now smaller in size, but he would happily shared some more food to that person also. And it is said that then a Chandala, then a lower than a Shudra class, he came, and Rantidev was happily shared his food also. And it is said that the food was all like vanishing, and there was another person who was like the one who takes care of the dogs. He came along with his 4 dogs, and he's like, I am also like thirsty, and my dogs also need some food. So he gave away the food and even the water that was there for him to drink. And all this he did with the knowledge that all these people are part and parcel of Krishna. They're all those spirit souls. And it's my fortune that I am able to serve them. He was not in a grudging mood, or he was not in a, what do you say, that I'm just doing it because I've been told to do it. He was not in that mood. He was really feeling it, whatever he was practicing, whatever he has heard the Shastras, he was practicing it happily. So we hear the word susukam kartumavyayam, like Lord Krishna says, this is happily, joyfully performed. So he was joyfully performing his activity on a daily basis. But then we could see that all these people were transformed into Lord Shiva, Brahma, and all those demigods who had taken these forms. They came so that they could glorify Rantidev and show to this world how great this personality is. So we have such wonderful examples, and there are many examples. Many of you would be knowing these examples help us actually to build those, or even to try to go into that path of understanding what it means to have an equal vision. So we also have heard from our young days the story of King Shibi, where he was a king also who was very making sure all his inhabitants in his place were all taken care, including the animals. So a dove, you could see that he's sitting on his lap. It came that, please save me, O king, this eagle is chasing me. And the king was like, yes, now that you have taken shelter of me, it's my responsibility to protect you. And the king says to the eagle that I will give a part of my flesh, like equal to the weight of the pigeon. So just take it. And the eagle was like, fine. And he literally, you can see in the other picture, he's chopping off his flesh and putting it on the scale. But how much ever he put, the scale was not getting equal. So then he sat himself, and that's where, like, it's in no way that the weight of the king will be equal to that of a pigeon. But this was also again the demigods who came and who were testing this king, and they gave him the benediction to show the whole world how glorious this king was, who was not discriminating between his people. So in this connection, I also want to touch upon how we all have heard of Ramanujacharya. He's a great Acharya of Sri Sampradaya. He, being an Acharya himself, being on the position of a guru, Jagat Guru, like he is in the Sri Sampradaya, the main head of Sri Sampradaya. When he went to go for take initiation from Tirukoshti Nambi, Goshti Purna also he's called, he walked 18 times. He was rejected every time, and he had to go and come back, go and come back, not now, not now. And he took that patience to go for 18 times. And when he got that mantra, when he got that special mantra from his guru, Goshti Purna, he said it very clearly. This is very, very special mantra. You cannot just say it to anybody. Only those who qualify for it can get the mantra. And when Ramanujacharya heard that this is such a special mantra, and that will liberate everyone back to Godhead, he did not keep it to himself. What did he do? We all know this story, and we have heard many times. He climbed up on the Gopuram, and he chanted, people of this Sri Rangam, please come, please come. I have a great gift that I want to share with each one of you. And he just openly gave that mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya, to everyone. He just said it. And this news reached his guru, Goshti Purna, and he was very upset. I just gave you the instruction that you should not openly say this to everybody. This is very special mantra. How could you do this? Like, you just crossed the boundary of what was said. Like, you can't do that. It was a guru aparad almost. So when Goshti Purna was so mad and angry with Ramanujacharya, with full humility, he fell at the feet of his guru and he said, oh, my master, if one soul, what if this one soul, this insignificant soul, if I go to hell, what does it matter? But if all these people get to go to the lotus feet of Lakshmi Narayan, how glorious that is. So that was his heart. When Goshti Purna heard this heart of Ramanujacharya, a real Vaishnava, his heart transformed and he embraced him, that you are my guru. That's how this beautiful relationship is. And there is another pastime that I heard about Ramanujacharya. Whenever he would go for taking a bath, he would hold the hand of his nephew, that was Dasharati. He would hold his hand and get into the Kaveri river for taking a bath. And when he would come out, he would hold the hand of another disciple. His name was Dhanurdhar. And he would hold his hand and come out. So people were like, this doesn't even look good, because the Dasharati is his nephew, and he's also a great learned scholar, and he's an Brahmana caste, like a senior in position. So that makes sense. So that he holds his hand and he goes. But when he came out after taking his bath, he was holding the hand of Dhanurdhar, who happens to be from a lower caste. He's not from that so-called Brahmin caste. So people were all ridiculing him, and he's like, this is not appropriate for a sannyasi to be doing, who knows all the shastras. And then Ramanujacharya explained that when I go for taking bath in, I hold the hand of Dasharati so that my pride of high birth gets washed away. So when I take a bath, it's not just the bath of the body, but I pray to the Lord that I'm thoroughly cleansed in and out, So when that pride of high birth is washed out, I hold the hand of Dhanurdhar, who is a great devotee of the Lord. He's such a great devotee of the Lord. And I pray that someday I can get a glimpse of what love for Lord he has. So that's how I hold his hand, and I aspire to be his servant, and I come out. So this is how all the acharyas, all the sampradayas, all the bona fide sampradayas have been. They've been practicing what they are preaching, and this is their true heart. This is very touching to see that they're not discriminating between anybody based on the race and color and the caste that we usually get discriminated. So since yesterday was Rasikananda Prabhu's disappearance day, I really want to take his blessings and tell a few points that he was such a great Rasika devotee. He was the son of a king, and he was in his royal opulence he had, like son of a king. But he was such a great devotee that he always prayed and meditated on the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was a disciple of Shyamananda Pandit. And with his blessings, he actually began to preach. And his preaching was such that it is mentioned that once there was a lot of wild elephants who were attacking him. And Rasikananda Prabhu just had to sprinkle water and say, chant Gauranga, Gauranga. And the elephant began to chant Gauranga and Krishna. So that was the power of a devotee who sees the Lord everywhere in all living entities. They're able to see the presence of the Lord. So also yesterday also happened to be Jagannath Das Babaji's disappearance day. He's a great Vaishnava who is in our Guru Parampara. So he lived for more than like 144 years. So he would go into such intense chanting of the holy name and taking shelter of Mahaprabhu that he considered himself very meager and like not that he's some important person. So in his glories, it is also mentioned that one day when he was in the Dham of Sri Vrindavan Dham, he was begging alms, and he was begging alms from a street sweeper for some rotis. And when all the other Babajis, they all saw, they were like, Babaji Maharaj, what are you doing? You're such a great Vaishnava. You are going and approaching such a lowly person as a street sweeper for some rotis. This is not appropriate. And Babaji Maharaj, with folded hands, he replied, he said that you all are great learned Vaishnavas. Don't you know how glorious this dust of Sri Vrindavan Dham is? Such glorious is the dust that even Lord Brahma, he's meditating to be a particle of dust here in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And this sweeper, he's serving the dust, he's rolling in the dust, he's bathing in the dust, and he's covered with the dust fully. Who can be a better servant, or who can be a better Vaishnava than him, who is blessed to roll in the dust of Sri Vrindavan Dham? When he said this, all of them were with folded hands. They were like, they could see how such a vision he had. So it's not just seeing something, seeing is something external that we just see with our physical eyes. That is why the jnanam, vijnanam, jnanam, just knowledge, but a realized knowledge. How Krishna says you got to have the realized knowledge. So these great Vaishnavas had that realized knowledge beyond just seeing. They had that person. They could understand the deepness of how each of us are that spirit souls connected to that Supreme Lord. So their everyday behavior was changed because they were not just they knew it, and they have that jnanam and vijnanam, knowledge and realized knowledge. They were acting on that platform. And also there was another very nice pastime of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. It's mentioned that when he would sit down to have prasad, there was a dog which had just laid 5 puppies. And those little puppies would come and take the remnants, not the remnants, actually, they would just come and pick from his plate and they would eat right when he's taking prasad. And Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj's servant just would shoo away the dog. Like you wouldn't want the dog to just come and sit along when your spiritual master is sitting and honoring prasad, right? So he just chased the dogs away. On seeing that, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj felt like, what are you doing? Don't you know who these dogs are? We don't know what special personalities they are. If they don't come back, I will not be taking prasad. So he was waiting for the dogs to come back, and Bihari, his servant, had to go actually literally find those puppies back, because Maharaj said, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj said, I will not eat till those puppies come back and honor the prasad. So this was his true Vaishnava mood and spirit on a daily basis, And what else can we say this about this very special personality? If not for him, we wouldn't know where our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, his birthplace. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur got that vision to know that, to find the place in Yogapith in Mayapur, he wanted somebody to confirm, is that the place where Mahaprabhu was born? So whom else did he go to? He went to Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who was already in 142 years old he was. And in that age, his whole body was bent and he was so weak. And his eyelids, it said that like somebody had to lift his eyelids so he can actually even glance or see. So he was carried in a basket. So the Bihari carries him. And when they reached that place where Bhaktivinoda Thakur had spotted, understanding that this is the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Babaji Maharaj, from that basket, he jumped. Can we even imagine this ecstasy? He jumped in ecstasy and he began to dance, 142 years old. So that is the spiritual strength that he had. And he would dance and sing and he would chant so loudly the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That was the love Babaji Maharaj had for the holy name. So here, how can we understand all this? Of all the people that we have heard, all the acharyas, they were all merciful, and they were all following this. All our Goswamis, they are explained like how Krishna Kirtana Ghana Nartana Paro Premamritam Bhonidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priya Priya Karo Nirmatsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharo Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarako Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyubho Shri Jiva Gopalako. So this is a Shed Goswami Ashtakam. This is the first stanza where the Goswamis are, how glorious they are is Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo Priyakaro. Even the ruffians and the sober people, they loved them because they were non-envious of them and they respected them well. So they were loved by everyone. So all these acharyas show by their personal examples. And coming in line, Srila Prabhupada, our founder acharya of International Society of Krishna Consciousness, how has he mercifully come, left the happiness of just staying in Vrindavan. He traveled not knowing where is he heading to, come to this cold place of New York, and he was able to see that spark of seeing every living entity as that spirit soul connected to Krishna. He wanted to revive that connection, and he came to distribute, and the hardships that he went through. And the people that he met were not like an aristocratic people right away, but whomever he met, he did not discriminate. That's the point. And it's His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj, when he was making one of Srila Prabhupada's Vyas Puja offerings, he actually mentioned this pastime that in Paris, this happened where in the Paris temple, when they were all getting ready for receiving Srila Prabhupada, he was going to arrive. And there was this one person who was very shabby, very kind of like hasn't taken shower for quite some time. He was like a 19-year-old young boy, and he knocked at the door of the temple and just said, "Food, food." He just wanted food. Even his speech was not even clear. He was intoxicated, unclean. So they named him Pigpen. Actually, I was wondering, what does that Pigpen mean? So Maharaj was explaining that Pigpen is a character that comes in these newspapers, in this Peanut series, where this Pigpen is that person where he is so shabby and he's just like a germ carrier. He's covered and rolled always in dust. So that kind of a personality came, and they didn't even know what his name was, so the devotees just would call him Pigpen. And he would just come and he wanted food, and the devotees were like, "Okay, here is the prasad, just take it and just leave." And he would come, he would get the prasad and he would just leave, but he didn't have a place to go. So he was just there in the bushes. He was just living there. And when Srila Prabhupada arrived to Paris, and Prabhupada walked to the temple, this Pigpen actually grabbed Srila Prabhupada's feet. And all the devotees were like, "No, no, no, what are you doing?" Like they wanted, he's dirty, and he wanted to touch Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, and they were trying to move him off, but Prabhupada just put his hands on his head and said, it's all right, my boy, it's all right." It was such a loving exchange that Srila Prabhupada was having with this, that there was so much transformation going on, and Prabhupada then moved on. And then the devotees felt like, "Oh, now Prabhupada has so much mercy." So yeah, they took him up, took to the shower, they cleaned him off, and they brought him down. And he was like a totally clean, neat person, but he had even speech difficulty, like he couldn't even speak well. So then he just started staying in the temple and doing some cleaning and all that. And then there was this book distribution marathon came in December, where students were ready to get into the van and go for book distribution. And our Pigpen came and he said, "I want to go too. I want to go." And the devotees were like, "What do you want to do there? Like, we are going for book distribution, Sankirtan." But he was very adamant and saying that, "I want to come. I want to join you all." And the devotees were like, "Okay, whatever. Okay, come on. Maybe you can clean the van." So they came in. He came along in the book distribution van, and when the van stopped at a parking lot, and Pigpen was the first to come out, and he said, "I want to go for book distribution." And the devotees were like, "Oh, Pigpen, come on, it's not that easy to do book distribution." And still he insisted he wanted to go, so he got some bag of books and he went out. Everybody did their part, and when they came back, Pigpen also came back, but his bag was empty. He had distributed all the books, and the devotees were saying, maybe he dumped it somewhere in the dumpster, or he just gave it off. And another devotee said, "No, no, I really saw him distribute the books." And the leader was like, "What did you say, Pigpen? How did you distribute all these books?" So he said, "I only said this thing: Prabhupada saved me. Prabhupada saved me." He just said this and distributed all the books. And he is also actually, he's an initiated disciple. He's Rasada Das, and he's a great speaker, and he's in the movement. So transformation, like how Srila Prabhupada did not discriminate between anyone. Such a living example that we have. So I just wanted to wrap up since it's coming to an end. So I just thought we can have some summary. So how do we develop this equal vision? What is being said in this topic today, that we get the pulse of what equality is when we get to first know ourselves. Like first we start from us as the soul. And after that, and all those whom we see are also those spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna. So that is knowledge, and the realized knowledge that we are going to. So, and also we understand what separates us is far less significant than what unites us. So we always say, right, see the big picture, see the big picture. So the real big picture is we are all that spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna. And we look at everybody as conscious spiritual being beyond their exterior material differences. How amazing and how beautiful this is. So when we develop this, what is going to happen in our heart? What are we going to contribute by having this equal vision? When we develop equal vision, so 3 R's here comes. We have respect for all living beings. And respect, we naturally render service in one form or other. And when we are not able to meet up to that expectation, there is repentance in our heart that we want to reform. There is repentance because we understand what we did was not right. And we try to correct ourselves by taking shelter of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. I really want to thank ISKCON Connecticut, all the devotees, assembled Vaishnavas, for giving me an opportunity to reflect on this beautiful, beautiful verse. And thank you all so much. If there are any reflections or corrections, please.
Mataji, thank you for the nice lecture. Very, enlightening. Where was this pastime with Srila Prabhupada and Big Ben?
Paris.
Oh, it was in Paris, I see.
Yeah.
And the devotee still lives in Paris, you said?
I don't know, but they said his name is Rasada Das, and he's an initiated devotee, a great preacher. I'm not sure where he lives now.
I see. Yeah, wonderful pastime. Thank you.
Very hope-giving, right?
Yes, very.
And always there is a pain when we are not treated equally at all levels. There is that pain that comes in our heart, and we feel hurt. But we develop this equal vision, and when we start respecting all how precious each jiva is, being connected to the Lord, and we all have the same father and mother, that feels like we are able to respect them, and we are not going to be the cause of causing pain to that soul.
And
So
shows
good.
Srila Prabhupada's magnanimity and kindness and equality to everybody. Yeah.
Exactly, Mataji, exactly.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure many of you would have had this wonderful feeling, like whenever you came in touch with a devotee or any of the ISKCON centers and temples, how wonderfully you all were welcomed, like each one of us. The first thing we remember is how nicely we were welcomed and how happily the devotees are dancing and chanting in the holy name when they're having the kirtan. We must have been the ones who would have hesitated to join in, but they never said us not to come in. So they were always welcoming it. It's only us who took time to kind of blend in or to get into the group. So that welcoming is so beautiful when we are able to experience it, then we are able to share it in the form of this holy name when we go on book distributions, when we are inviting friends and family for our temple programs. So, any of you would like to share your realization, how it was for you when you first joined or first went to a temple or met a devotee?
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble
I have problems with setting up my mic sometimes, so I didn't know. Anyway, the first time I went to the temple, I remember when I left, I thought that I was never treated so nicely anywhere in my life. And I've been to many places around the world before that. I never was treated so nicely as when I first went to the temple. Really important to treat the devotees really nice when they first come. Afterwards, then we'll see how things go. But it is a fact that we really have to encourage people by just being nice to them. Not hard. Anyone else?
I was just reminded. Yes, please.
Sorry, Mataji. So the first time we came to temple, Prasad, we came like almost at the closing time, and the prasadam was almost over. So Rajnandini Mataji made some prasadam and gave it to us, and then she said sorry. And then Rajnandini Mataji was being so nice to our family.
She didn't have to say sorry, right?
Yeah.
Said that. Like, that is so touching. Why would somebody say sorry if the prasadam was over? Was it her responsibility? It was not her house function.
Yes.
That is the greatness of those devotees. Like, they are ready to ask sorry and make you feel like as if you're the most important person of the world. Come there. The most important guest. Jai.
So nobody else had any experiences the first time they went to the temple?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. I can share my experience when I met devotees first time in my life. That is you, Mataji and Prabhuji. So I never forget that day. So we came to know just like, it's a Kirtans happens in one home, just like Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock we came to know. I have something like I want to take something to the program. So I grabbed just apple, bananas, whatever I have on the countertop and just got ready. Program is at 5 o'clock. We went to Bhakti Ruksha. By the time we reached, you finished Bhagavad Gita. So never forget that receiving you and Prabhuji received us. So that's what made us to connect to Krishna consciousness. Your love always, and you accepted as what we were that time, not pointing anything in us. Very grateful for you, Mataji and Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vallavi Gopi. You were such a special soul. Who wouldn't want you, right? You are no doubt a very special soul, you and Prabhu. Jai.
Anyway, thank you very much for your class. I thought it was really nice. You're very good at telling stories. Brings out different emotions when you tell these stories. So it's very wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Your blessings. If no other comments or questions or discussions, we will end our discussion here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavebhyo jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you once again for the opportunity.
जय जगन्नाथ की जय, जय बलदेव की जय, जय सुभद्रा मैया की जय, जय गौर निताय की जय। जय प्रभुपाद जय, जय प्रभुपाद जय, जय प्रभुपाद जय, जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय शिला प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय शिला प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय शिला प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शूलवादी पाशचारिततारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी प्राच्यचारिततारिणे शिव जयो गोरा चंदे आरती का शोभा की भजना जय गोरा चंदे आरती का शोभा Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Tayo, Hari Bol, Tayo. Bahu koti chanda koti chanda Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Priya Deda Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय। गौर निताई की जय।
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabrajakacarya Sutara Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shilabhai Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabrajakacarya Sutara Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai, Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Devi Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai, Shri Shalagram Shilas Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Lord Nrsimha Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Namaste Narasringaya. Namaste Narasringaya. Pralada Lada Dayane. Pralada Lada Dayane. Hiranya Kashipu Lakshaha. Hiranya Kashipu Lakshaha. Shila Tankana Kalaye, Shila Tankana Kalaye, Ito Nashimo, Parato Nashimo, Pito Nashimo, Parato Nashimo, Yato Yamita to Nashimo, Yato Yamita to Nashimo, Bahir Nashimo, Hiraye Nashimo, Bahir Nashimo, Hiraye Nashimo, Nashringamadim Sharanam Papade, Nashringamadim Sharanam Papade, Tavakada Kamalavare, Nakama Duta Shringa, Dalita Hiranyakashipu, time to bring out Keshavadrita, Nahari Rupa, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Tavakara Kamalavare, Nakam Adhuta Shringam, Dalita Hiranyakashipu, Tanabringam, Keshavadrita, Narhari Rupa, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jai Nrsimhadev Jaya, Nrsimhadev Jaya, Nrsimhadev Jai, Nrsimhadev Jaya, Bhakta Prahlad Jaya, Prahlad Maharaj Jaya, Bhakta Prahlad Jaya, Prahlad Maharaj, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Nrsimha Bhagavan Ki Jai. Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for the Sunday evening program today. I'm going to start sharing my screen in a minute. Okay, we'll start by thanking Her Grace Hemangi Gopi Mataji for an excellent class today. So maybe
Hare
every
Bol.
Hari
Bol. Hare
Hari
Bol. Hare Bol.
We don't have a fee sponsor for today, and we are looking for somebody to sponsor. So if anybody is interested, maybe they can speak up or put their name in the chat window. Anybody interested in sponsoring the feast today?
Mataji, if there's no one, we will sponsor his Satendra for Pyari Prabhu's and Darsh's birthday.
Okay.
Upcoming birthday.
Upcoming birthdays. Okay, so Satendra Prabhu, Preeti Mataji, and Darsh are sponsoring for 2 upcoming birthdays, Pyare Prabhu and Darsh.
Hari
Hari
Bol!
Bol!
Hare
Hari Bol!
Can I ask where the prasadam goes to?
Pittsburgh and East Hartford.
Anyway, I get plenty of prasadam, but thank you for sponsoring the feast for my birthday. Hari Bol.
Okay. Upcoming events, apart from Darsh and Pyare Prabhu's birthday, Sunday, March 28th, we will be celebrating Gaur Purnima, the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Hari Bol! There'll be class, kirtan, abhishek, and special performances. Definitely 1, if not 2. So stay tuned for more details regarding the program on Sunday, March 28th for Gaur Purnima. If anybody is interested in sponsoring the feast, you can put your name in the chat window, or you can contact Pyare Prabhu and Jiva Mataji at the temple number 860-289-7252, or you can express your interest now and we'll take down your name. Moving forward. So Chaitanya Charitamrita set, I believe it's 12 volume set, which typically costs $125, is available for $108 only. And this special book promotion will end on March 28th, the Gaur Purnima day. So you have roughly 2 more weeks to avail this opportunity. Okay. It's time for chanting for the feast sponsors now.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Satyendra Prabhu and Preeti Mataji sponsoring for Pyare Prabhu and Darsh's birthday ki.
Jai.
Jai. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for the program this evening. Our special speaker for next Sunday is His Grace Vasudev Prabhu. He is the head pujari at Bhakti Center in New York City, and a really nice, soft, kind, gentle, humble devotee, and speaks very well from scriptures. He's also very well versed with both Ramayana and Mahabharat stories. And I'll also say that he was with us here last year before COVID hit, and he trained Anand Gauranga Prabhu in conducting the Yagna ceremony. So he's very well versed with scriptures and pujari duties as well. So it's going to be really nice hearing from him next Sunday, 4 p.m. next Sunday. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. for our Monday evening class.
Hari Bol.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.